Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Custom Carving and Epoxy UK. Now, obviously we are approaching a certain date in February now, February the 14th, which is, as you know, Valentine's Day. So I thought I'd try something for those of you that have a partner that want to make something special for them. You know I love my blooms. And I just thought it'd be interesting to see what would happen if I tried to pipe a heart shape and see how that blooms. So I've already mixed up the resin. I'm using the Apex Resin High Gloss for this. And I've mixed up about 4 ounces, which is what this mold takes. I'm going to put a tiny bit in this one. And then a tiny bit in this one. For my 2 colours, and it's going to be a mica type style of, I suppose I can call it a bloom, but it's going to be more of a heart. So temperature wise we're at 33 at the minute, so by the time I get to pouring that in there, we will probably be at around about 35 degrees, which is where I want it. So I've got a red mica and I've got a gold mica. It's almost festive. And I've also got that tiny bit there because I found some red glitter as well, just for the center. And let's see what happens. So I'm going to mix up my colors first. So again, I want quite a deep red. So I'm going to go for a full scoop of this mica. Oh, he says. In there. And I'm also going to add a couple of drops of alcohol ink as well, just to make sure it's a really deep colour. And then this one's going to be my white. Put it over here. And I don't think I'm going to need a lot of these guys. So again, just 1 drop should do. I'm using the Let's Resin Ocean White. But I am going to add something to these as well, guys, which I'll show you in a second. Just want to get my 1 drop of Ocean White in there. I'm going to have to start storing this upside down now, because I think as it gets half empty, it gets a bit of a pain to squeeze. So there we go. It's coming now. So 1 drop and a little bit of string, and that's all I need in there. Might as well just wipe the excess off. And in fact, I'm going to wipe my gloves because I did a previous project a minute ago, and they're still a little bit sticky. And there's nothing worse than sticky gloves. So there we go. That is those white. So that's going to be my white. Now to that, I'm actually going to add some gold, just to add a little bit of extra. Not too much, because I'm also going to be adding some iridescent powder to both of these. But I'm going to go with about half a scoop of the gold in there. I don't want it to overtake the piece either, which gold can often do, guys. So that's the gold and the white. And then to both of these, I'm going to add, I've got some iridescent pinky red powder, which is this one here. And I'm going to add about half a scoop to both of these, just to see what impact that has. So half a scoop in there with my white, and half a scoop in there with my red. And that's it for my colours. Pretty straightforward for me, except for the glitter that I'm going to do in the centre. So I'm just going to get a scoop of that, maybe 2 scoops for that centrepiece. One. I think I'm going to go with 3. And then I'm going to mix that around, and that can just go in the centre. And that is pretty much my colours. I've got my piping bags ready as well at the side. So now I'm just going to mix up these colours and see what they look like. In fact, no, I'm not, because I've not added the alcohol ink to my red either. If I can find my red, that is. I'm pretty sure I left it out from an earlier project. There we go. So it's the Let's Resin standard red. And I'm going to add 3 drops. As I say, I want this to be quite a deep red. 1, 2, 3. In fact, it ended up being 4. So, and these gloves are still, do you know what? They're really winding me up. New pair. There's nothing worse than your fingers sticking together, especially when you're trying to pipe. So, there we go. Let's get a new pair on. Tracy, if you're watching, you'll be proud of me. Look, brand new pair. Even though I've already had a pair on today. But there we go. That's better, no stickiness. So I'm just going to check the temperature now of what's left in the cup. And that is 33, so I'm still okay for time. So I'm going to mix up the red first. So this is that red with the iridescent, I think it's a pinky mica powder, iridescent, and a couple of drops of the red alcohol ink. So quite happy with that as a colour. I think it'll look nice. I'm just making sure I've mixed it all the way around. And then I'm going to add that into my piping bag. And that will be my red colour. Not overly red though, so it's going to be more of a pinky heart, guys. But you find that with a lot of red micas. As soon as you mix them, they go relatively pink. So what I'm going to do to counter that is I am going to add some red alcohol ink on the surface as well, which I wasn't going to do. So I'm just going to mix up the glitter. And do you know what? I'm going to add a little bit of silver laser glitter to it as well, just because I think it'll add a little bit of something to it. Or should I just leave it red? Decisions. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it red. So this is just that red glitter. There we go. Not too much, but again, I think it will just add something into the center of this bloom style heart. In fact, I'm going to add another scoop to it because I don't think it's concentrated enough for what I want. So just going to add in another 2 scoops of this glitter, just to really concentrate that glitter, because I don't want it going everywhere either. I want it to hopefully stay in that center. I might put a bit around the edge. We'll see how we get on. That's better. That's the sort of consistency I was looking for. And now for the white, or whitey gold, as it were. And there we go. I'm pretty happy with that as a colour. Again, it's got that pink iridescence going through it, if you can just see it on the camera. And it's got a bit of a goldy hue to it. But I think that should still bloom nicely, if we want to call it a bloom in this instance. Because it's not really going to be a bloom. We just want to see, hopefully, that bloom effect still. There we go. And I'm going to leave that on my drip mold so it can just gradually drip in, hopefully. There we go. So they're going to be my colours. And this is all going to be about piping skills, which is bizarre because I don't rate my own piping skills. I don't think they're great, guys. So if I'm having a go at this, you can too. So there's my whitey gold. And there's my pinky red. And I think that's going to be the main colour, if I'm being honest. I'm going to have probably more of that than I'm going to have the white. So there's that. It's still quite deep, but it is a deepy pink rather than the red that I wanted. So now, just going to check temps. Bang on 35, which is what I wanted. So now I'm going to pour it in. And this is just a round, I suppose I would call it a large coaster mold, guys. Some of you might call it a small tray, but it'd be a very small tray. And I'm probably going to get it around about half full at this point, because I might put a back on this is what I'm thinking. And as always, guys, get a silicone tool or something and just go around the edge, because that's where your bubbles are likely to be. Dislodge them, bring them to the surface. Again, try and be gentle if you can, and just convince them all to come up to the top, and then either use a long nose lighter or your torch or your heat gun to get rid of them. And try and stay away from the edges when you do that. So I'm pretty happy. Oh no, there's one just hiding just in there. I don't want it. In fact, it's not, it's my mold, I think. It's not a bubble. So there we go. Easy part done. Right, so I'm going to start by adding some of this glitter just to the center, and I might even go around the sides with it. I'm not sure yet. I'll see how I feel when I see it in there. Again, going to try and keep it in the center if I can, or as central as I possibly can. And again, I want a decent size, I nearly said the B word, amount in that center. And then I'm going to try and shape it in a minute, just with my silicone tool. And you can probably guess what shape I'm going to go for. There we go. I think that is more than enough of that. And it's already pretty much made the shape, which is good. So I'm just going to move it in a little bit and move this bit down here a little bit further out, like so. Again, I'm trying to make sure I keep it in the center as well, which is the difficult part. And then I want to move this bit in, like so. Move these bits together. And that kind of resembles a little heart, which will also be a good little template for me to pipe around, hopefully. I'm just having a look from up high. Looks reasonably central, so it's not perfect, I know, but it does resemble a heart, which is what I was going for. So now, in fact, no, I skipped a step there. I said I wanted it more red. So I'm going to add some red alcohol ink just to the surface. And I'm going to go all the way around just to give it a deep red look. There we go. Doesn't get much redder than that. And it's a shame I've not got anyone to give this to this year. So you never know, I might do it as a giveaway if anybody's interested. But there we go. And again, I don't really want it pulling in. I want the whole thing to be pretty much red. So just going to make sure that these sides are, again, covered as well. And I can still just about see through to the heart in the center. So I'm happy with that. But what I am going to do, just so there's no obvious lines or anything, is just move it around a little tiny bit, like so. There we go. Making sure it stays pretty close to that edge, because I do want this to be a predominantly red coaster. And I don't want to do that in the center because it could move that heart around that I've tried to get right in the center. So now I'm going to go in with this. Again, I'm going to cut it probably about halfway between the air bubble there and the resin. And if this goes well, I'm going to be so surprised. I don't know if it'll work because the way that a bloom typically blooms and all pulls into the center, I've got a feeling that no matter what I do, it's going to be really heavy in the middle. But we'll see. So I'm going to start off hopefully just above, like so. And then I'm going to follow that pattern. And there we go. That kind of looks like a heart to me. Now this one looks a little bit thin. So again, I'm going to go around it again, just to make sure I hopefully keep that shape in. And that's pretty much it with the white. So it's a little bit disappointing that I only needed to use that much. But again, we'll see if this works or not. And now I'm going to go in with the pinky red colour, exactly the same. And just try and do this in between that white. So here we go. And I think that is about as much as I can do. Now I am going to pull it in a little bit here, like so. And from here, like that, and then back out. And I think that should resemble, hopefully, a heart, providing it blooms. Now again, I didn't put a lot in there, so that's what's making me want to go over it again. So I am going to go over it again. And I'm just hoping I'm not putting too much in here by doing this. But I want to make sure that there is enough in there so that the whole thing blooms. And I am going to go over it and put that design in again in a second. Again, I don't want it to be too heavy though, because that's where there's a big risk of that B word happening. And this bit can bring it out here and bring it out again. But I like the look of that if I get the bloom effect and it closes in. We will see. But let me know what you think in comments, guys. I know it's not perfect, but for me, the design kind of resembles a heart. And if it blooms in, it should look quite pretty. I am going to put a little back on it as well. So let me know what you think in comments. And I'll see you guys when this is ready for a back in about 4 or 5 hours. So here we go, guys. It's actually the next morning because I didn't want to get up at 1:30 this morning to put a back on. And all I'm going to do is mix up probably around about 60 ml of this Apex resin for a back. And I think obviously reds and whites is going to be the main colour. I'm thinking black. To be honest, I think black should do really well and highlight it as well. So again, not mixing a lot, just around about 50-60 ml of resin. And whenever I mix a dark colour like black, especially for a backing, I don't tend to put it through the debubbler. So just going to add 1 drop of this resin dye paste to it. And it creates a really nice black colour, and you don't need a lot, guys. So I'm going to add that, and I am actually going to add some of this red glitter to it as well once it's mixed. I quite like adding glitters to black. I think it creates a really cool effect. So again, just going to mix it all around, making sure the resin's thoroughly mixed and that you get that pure black colour. Scrape your sides, scrape the base like so, and then just give it a good old mix, making sure that everything has been thoroughly mixed. Pretty happy with that, but look at that glossy black that you get. It's amazing. And then I'm just going to add a scoop of this red glitter that we used for the center. Again, in fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to use a glitter that I know will work really well, because I haven't tried that red glitter in a black yet, and I'm really hoping that this has turned out. So I'm going to add some of the silver laser glitter. Just a couple of scoops, nothing massive, but for me it creates a really nice backing, and I'm using it on quite a few blooms at the minute. This silver laser glitter and black. There we go. So I'm just going to mix the glitter in as well. Then we'll pour, and then hopefully we'll be back for demold. It's that simple, and hopefully we will have a kind of blooming heart. Never tried a heart before, never tried any other shape before apart from a traditional bloom, so we'll see how we get on. So now I'm just going to start in the center, go around the edge. It doesn't need to be a thick back in this, guys, it just needs to be enough hopefully to cover and finish off this piece. And there we go. I think that is pretty much full, and I judged it about right, so hopefully any spare can just go in my drip mold at the side, which currently is a dragon egg. So let's say hopefully this will be cured enough later on today so that we can demold it and see if that bloom has worked. So there we go. I'll see you guys at demold. Hi guys, and it is time to demold this heart, and to be honest with you, the week I've been having, it's been one of those weeks where nothing has gone right, so I'm hoping that we've got a blooming heart in this, but I'm not overly confident, and it probably could do with setting up a little bit more, but it should be okay to demold, and then I'll leave it on the side just to continue curing. It's just that back layer that's a little bit soft at the minute, but I'll try my best not to touch it. As you can see, if you do it a little bit early, you get a fingerprint in it, but I wanted to see if this has bloomed, because knowing the week I've had, nothing has worked. So here we go, and we've got blobbing. So no, it hasn't really worked. It's just been one of those weeks. But it still looks cool. Somebody might like it, and I'm going to do it as a giveaway actually to my members and see if anybody wants it. But I'm going to let it fully cure up and then just sort it out. But yeah, it has blobbed, but just shows you we all get those weeks. So just keep on going and you'll get some stunning results eventually.
Welcome to our custom space where dreams take flight. Positive visions coming to life. It's a perfect sight. We born together, blooming three, resin family.